Welcome to Grit City Tales, the podcast brought to you by the Humane Society for Tacoma Pierce County. I'm Mary.
And I'm Maggie.
And together we're amplifying the untold stories of pets and the people who love them right from the heart of Pierce County in Washington State. Thanks for joining us. Today, we're going to be talking about kitten season. And Maggie, tell me all about that.
Well, for those of you who are not familiar with the term kitten season, it's what we in animal welfare use to describe the time of year when we have a huge influx of kittens coming into our shelters or needing assistance in some way, shape, or form. In Washington State, at least right here in the Puget Sound area, we're finding that like between March-ish and September, that's kind of the height of kitten season. In other areas, it may differ because cats are seasonal breeders. Mm-hmm. So when the weather starts getting warmer and it's lighter longer, that's when they're out, and any strays or those that aren't spayed or neutered, they try to find boyfriends and girlfriends, and you end up with lots and lots of kittens. So many come through our doors that people find, as well as people being surprised with their own litters that they didn't know were coming. So that's a little bit about what the term kitten season refers to, and it comes and it hits hard.
It's very resource intensive.
Absolutely. So if you think of, if any of you have ever raised kittens or had a kitten, any baby animal really requires a lot of time, energy, and resources. Well, all the animals here, they definitely require a lot of time and resources, whether they're a baby or an adult. But kittens, they need round-the-clock care. We have everything from brand newborn babies that people are finding in their backyards, in sheds, under porches, everything from those with moms to those without moms, or they can't find the moms. And so it might be a brand new baby that's less than 24 hours old that comes through our doors, or maybe an 8 or 10 or 12-week-old kitten that hasn't been around humans really and was born to a stray outside. And
it's under-socialized.
Yeah, under-socialized. And so all of those kittens, puppies as well, but we're going to talk about kittens today, they go into foster homes here with us. And those foster parents, they take on the responsibility and care of giving those kittens everything that they need to grow and thrive, to be able to eventually come back to the shelter, be spayed and neutered, and put up for adoption.
Since Maggie and I are not professionals when it comes to foster, we have fostered previously for rabbits, kittens, dogs, but when it comes to the foster department at the Humane Society, we have our subject matter expert here, Natalie Huffman, foster care lead, one of our two. And I'm so excited to have you here.
We love Natalie.
Thank you for having me.
Everyone loves Natalie.
I'm excited.
Yes. And I want you to tell us how you got here to the Humane Society, how you started in your role, and why do you do what you do?
Because you've been here for a long time as a volunteer prior to working here.
I have. I've been here a little over 3 years. Most of that, the majority of that being a volunteer, working in the foster department. I started out as just cleaning, not just cleaning kennels. That's very important. Cleaning kennels, those types of things. And then I just sort of migrated over to answering emails and that. And then it sort of morphed into more and more time here. And then just by fate, I landed the foster lead position to actually work. I've actually never worked outside of the home.
Wow.
I've never had a paying position.
Really? You're amazing at what you do. So when we got to have her on as a full-time employee, it's like she was basically already here all the time anyways, helping us.
I think you were getting up to the full-time hours.
Yeah.
And if only being a mom was paid position, Lord, that'd be great.
I think I have over 4,000 volunteer hours.
Oh my
gosh.
Yeah, but I was a stay-at-home mom for 32 years, so I successfully raised five human
5,
beings.
That's amazing.
Oh, so kittens are nothing for you. You're used to them.
Kittens are like newborns, but for a shorter amount of time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I've been being a paid employee here since November, but I'm very familiar with the foster program since I spent a lot of hours there. And why did I become a volunteer was because I was already fostering kittens. I was part of the exclusively foster parent. I didn't do in-house volunteering. For about 2 years, and then I had a kitten that got really sick, unfortunately, as some of them do, and didn't make it. So because of that, I was kind of, at the time, you couldn't foster kittens in your home if a kitten had a particular disease. We don't do that anymore. You can just clean your space and you're good to go. But at that time, so I just said, well, you know what? I'll just go in and help out. Since I can't have kittens for 6 months, I'll just go in and clean their kennels and stuff. So that's how I landed here. So it was through, when you look at, because of that kitten is why I'm here doing what I do.
That's great.
So
what was that kitten's name?
Mister.
Mister.
Yeah.
Well, we're so glad that Mister brought you here.
Yeah.
And, we love seeing the passion that you have for foster and how important the work is that you do, because foster, triples our capacity?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And, we have some statistics coming up to talk about how many kittens we actually cared for last year. But if I wanted to foster, what kind of home environment do you need? How do you apply? Do you have to have a college degree? How do you become a foster?
Yeah, well, there's the figurative part of being a foster where anybody can foster. Dogs are, a little bit more, you have to have a little bit of parameters around a dog, but a kitten, a puppy, anybody can, in any setting, can have that.
You just need like an extra room, a bathroom,
extra room. We even have wire kennels here that we can give to people. We have mesh playpens that we can give to people.
Well, and that's what some people may not know is that the foster department, if someone applies to be a foster parent, they can contact you all, and if they don't have the supplies, you all will give them the supplies to be set up for success, and then continue to provide, food, toys, anything else that they need. So it's really the foster parent provides the love and care and helps them to kind of have time in a more natural home environment rather than having to grow up here in the shelter environment. So foster department works their little butts off making sure that everyone in the foster family kind of has what they need and feels supported so they can care for these newborn puppies, kittens, bunnies, injured animals, whatever it might be.
Yeah. The animals that we're sending out to foster a majority of them are vulnerable and would not survive if they did not go to foster care. Some of them cannot stay overnight here in the kennels. We don't have the number of staff that we have to take care of the volume of animals. We need foster.
The math doesn't math.
Yes.
Math ain't math.
Yeah. They would not survive if it weren't for foster families.
Wow. And we've fostered, of course, previously. I remember my first foster from the Humane Society for Tacoma Pierce County. I was on my honeymoon, and I got an email from foster saying, hey, we have kittens available. And I emailed on my honeymoon saying, I'm coming back in 2 days. Can I please pick up a foster? Because fostering is so impactful. And I learned so much from that first foster kitten. That one was just in our room in one of those like pop-up playpens. And she was the reason that I continued fostering. And I fostered over 50 plus kittens at this point until I adopted 3 of them. And now my house is a little full. But, tell us what I mean by goodbye. Goodbye is the goal. Yeah,
I actually have that hung up in my foster room. It used to be for me. Now it's for my child that lives there. A lot of people, one thing that I hear a lot is, I could never foster. I just would want to keep them all and love them all. I could never give them back. And while that is true, and it's certainly, that's a valuable emotion to have. And I've been there where it was very difficult for me to bring them back for surgery and know that that's the end of, and I'm choking up,
I know.
end of my journey
with whatever little soul you had in your life that you loved and cared for and raised up.
Especially, you know, the heavy medical and behavioral cases, like those ones that you truly saved their life. It is so hard.
It is.
To pass that torch. And
you always keep it in your head that you know that, like, that
goodbye is the goal.
That goodbye is the goal, but that doesn't keep it from pulling at your heartstrings and being really attached. And those animals deserve to have people that love them and care about them too, even if they're only temporarily with you. They deserve all the love that you would give your own pets. And so it's hard when you fall in love just like they're your own. They become your family for a little while.
I look at it like I get a perpetual kitten.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And you know, you bring them to their surgery appointment and you drop them off to go on to their homes. And it does not get easier. And I tell people that. But your heart just grows bigger around each time. And
it does.
Yeah. And
that's a great way to describe it.
Yeah, you just think, okay, because you're just, as a foster parent, you're just a bridge.
Yeah.
And you literally save the lives of the animals that you take into your care, especially these very vulnerable 8 weeks and under animals that can't have surgery. They need somewhere to grow and develop.
Or when they get to be like 8 weeks old and they're running around your house being little terrors,
little
because
teenagers.
Kittens, they are so much fun, but when they're scaling your curtains and stuff, you can be like, okay, well, you're ready to go back to the shelter, find your new home. And then if you so choose, you can get brand new little babies to fall in love with all over again.
Yeah. It's very rewarding. And these kittens that do come to us are not, you know, they're generally not vaccinated because they have to be a certain age. And of course, we provide all of the medical care. Any problem that you encounter, medically speaking, you have a direct line to our vet staff through our telemedicine health platform called Pet Triage.
That's new.
Yeah.
That's a really great resource, huh?
It's very good. It is designed for private practice, but we're adapting it for the use in the shelter. And they've made some modifications for us, specifically for us, to make it easier for our foster parents to navigate. And instead of talking to me about your kitten's diarrhea, you get to talk directly to a member of the vet team.
And that, I feel like, can bring some peace to foster parents, too. I've fostered since the Pet Triage has been put in place, and it is nice to just be able to message the vets and be like, hey, how concerned should I be? Do you want me to bring them in? Is it something I just need to pick up some meds later on today? It does bring you kind of a sense of peace, especially if you're more of a nervous worrier like me, helicopter parent style over your fosters. It does make it a really nice direct access to the vet staff that can help you.
And it is monitored. It's monitored 24 hours. So even if there's a middle of the night emergency, and there's protocol that you follow, but everyone's aware that something's going on.
Well, you know, you've fostered for us, of course. You end up bringing home medical cases that, you know, don't have someone for maybe an overnight, or you know how to provide that care. Tell us about an impactful foster kitten in your life.
Yeah, well, and in fairness, they all impact me in one way or another. I learn more about myself every time I take in a new litter or single or whatever. But one that comes to mind is Opal. And she was a special little Lynx Point kitten that was a Good Samaritan brought them in. They found her in their backyard. And a lot of times we don't know how the animals come to us. I kind of wanted to say that. But this particular instance, I did know that it was a Good Samaritan who brought her in, found them backyard. But they did want to adopt the kitten when she was eligible for adoption, which would have been another 4 or 5 or 6 weeks, depending on her wound. She had broken metatarsals.
How old was she?
She was about 5 weeks, I think.
Just a little tiny baby with broken toe beans.
We have no idea. Nobody knows how or why her foot got smashed, but our vets here put a cast on her, and so I kept her for that length of time. And the plan was to probably have to amputate her leg because they weren't expecting her toes to heal properly. So when it came time to have her spayed and to amputate the leg, because they kind of do that in the same day, they went ahead and did another x-ray just to see, like, fingers crossed kind of thing. And sure enough, her toes healed. Her broken bones all healed. All of her little toe beans healed.
Foster mom Natalie gave her all the loving care she needed, and the vet team worked their magic. And
did you have to, like, confine her into a cage? Like,
there was no confining.
There's no confining.
No, she was like a little pirate with her little foot, and she just got around with that cast.
Oh,
and the vet staff was so nice. They decorated her cast in, like, glitter. It was really cute. So she had recast it again just to give her some more time. And I kept her another couple weeks. And then she came in and she was ready to go. And of course, I had to keep her after the cast came off for a couple weeks because her leg was really emaciated.
Like weak, using it as
just
much.
Give her some time to build that strength back up. And so her day came, and that was a tough one for me. But and sometimes the Good Samaritans, while they intend to adopt the kitten, 8 or 9 or 10 or 12 weeks goes by, and they've either forgotten, or they came in and got a different kitten,
or they realize, maybe we're not ready for this right now.
Yeah, people do change their mind, but this particular person did not. And I ran into her in the lobby. I had the good fortune of meeting her, and I've seen pictures of the family all together afterwards, and she's perfect for them. So that's just one story, and there's a myriad of stories. And sometimes I had the good fortune that time to know the impact of my harboring, fostering Opal, but most of the time you don't know.
You don't. And we go day to day not knowing what impact these animals or us truly make.
Yeah. And on everyone's lives. These animals do just as much for us as we do for them.
Yes.
Who saved who?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Thank you for sharing that story with us, sweet Opal.
So if I was a member of the community that had never fostered, wasn't familiar with our shelter, but heard this or saw something somewhere and was like, I'm feeling called to foster, how would they get started with us?
Well, the first thing we would ask you to do is just go online to our website. There's a how to get involved, drop-down menu, foster, submit an application. Cat, kitten, dog, puppy. They're 2 separate applications, and rabbits, ma'ams. And then those applications come to us. We process them. We try to have a week or 2 at the most turnaround. And then you'll be onboarded, it's a little 10-minute spiel on our policies and protocols, and have you understand how petriage works, those kinds of things. And then you get part of a mass email that we send out, and so we'll send out, we have X kittens, and we try to give you as much information about the kitten, or the animal, I should say, that we know. I mean, our goal in our department is to have kittens in and out in under 24 hours. So a lot of times, they look healthy to us in the kennel, and then they get to your house and they have a URI. These are vulnerable
upper
animals.
Respiratory infection, for those of you that don't know, and it's very common in those that are especially born in not ideal conditions.
Yes.
To kitty cold.
Yeah, kitty cold.
Which is one of the reasons we ask fosters to, do quarantine these kittens from your resident pets for 14 days, just in case. But again, we're here to support you every step of the way. So anyway, you'll get an email from us, and then you just respond. I'm available, and we have very scientific method about how we choose. It's usually the first person who answers. And a lot of times people are really disappointed and think, oh, you guys have so many, you never answer my emails. And there's nothing, we just pick the first person. And I can tell you by September, you're going to be sick of us in your inbox.
Because the goal is to get them out of this environment, because they're a vulnerable population. And so that makes sense that you would pick the first person to reply. That's why I replied on my honeymoon. I was like, give me that kitten.
Yeah. And you're just looking at, depending on if it was let's just say an average span. If you took a kitten that was 2 days old, we bring them in for surgery at 8 weeks. Sometimes they're medical cases. And again, we do tell you everything we know. We try to give you an idea of how long that animal's going to be in your care. And that being said, at any point in time, you can bring the animal back to us. If it's not working out for any reason, you have to go on vacation or you just don't feel successful, we will find a new foster, and there's no we don't hold anything against you, and you're not kicked off the list like a lot of people are worried. We just
that happens for a variety of reasons.
You don't know what you don't know. So we're here to help and support in any way that we can.
Yeah.
Well, and that kind of leads us into talking. We know there's obviously this big foster need, but why is there such this influx of kittens coming in? One is obviously lack of spay and neuter of whatever animals are outside or sneak outside. They might have been an owned animal that snuck out and came back, and their family was surprised with kittens. Might be a stray, might be what's called a community cat, just kind of a cat in the neighborhood that nobody but everybody kind of owns. And these kittens are born out in that environment, whatever it may be, like I said earlier, under a shed, porch, in somebody's neighborhood. And people are finding them and bringing them to us, but that's kind of what we call kitten napping. Many times the mom cats, they are caring for them, and maybe they're just moving the kittens to another location. I know you were telling me about that yesterday, Natalie. So can you talk a little bit about what kind of kitten napping, kind of a term like kidnapping, when you find a kitten, if somebody finds a mom with kittens, what should someone do if here in the next few months, given that it's kitten season, someone finds kittens?
A litter of kittens without their mom, what would you do?
Yeah, the best scenario is to wait and see if you do see mom come around. A lot of times she's not coming around because you're standing there and she feels threatened. And I know it does sound counterintuitive. The best thing you can do is leave them alone. And observe. Are you for sure mom is not taking care of them, or you have not seen mom in 24 hours, let's say, then...
Or a kitten is like injured and actively suffering.
Yes. Yeah, something. Emaciated. A lot of times people will find a single neonate, and that's probably what's happening is moms do move their kittens from place to place. It's a protective measure. So she's probably moved 4 or 5 of her kittens, and because she can only take one at a time. So when you find a single one, I would ask that you wait to see if she's probably on her way back to get that kitten to put with the rest of the litter. Yeah. And people, it's hard to hear that because people want to help.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's just education, teaching people. And the goal would be to get the mom, in here to get her spayed so that we don't continue, and the dads to be neutered so that we don't continue to have little kittens out in the wild.
Yeah.
Because they face a lot of I guess, undesirable situations when they're out there. Like you talked about, upper respiratory infections are pretty common. Maybe injuries, something along those lines. But also the moms do a pretty, wildlife, cars. I mean, but when they're neonates, so that under kind of 6-8 week age, their best chance of survival is with their mom to love and care and feed and groom and do all of that. So if people can at least get, the kittens to be with their moms for that period of time, that gives them a better start in life, unless, like you mentioned, Natalie, unless they're sick or something along those lines.
Right.
Obviously, we don't want to have a kitten out there suffering.
Right.
I mean, we have a lot of animals at any given time, but in this kitten season, last year alone, we had over 2,400 kittens brought in.
Wow.
So just like you were saying earlier, Natalie, there's only so much space in the shelter, only so many staff. Those 2,400 kittens plus wouldn't have had a space here. We can't house 2,400 kittens here. And so that's why fostering is so important, and why we have the month of April as Kitten Shower.
April is our kitten shower month. We host a kitten shower every year, kind of like a baby shower, but for kittens. While tons of kittens may seem adorable, caring for them takes a lot of resources. It requires round-the-clock attention and care. We rely on our community, you all, to support, making this life-saving work possible.
Whether you are fostering or maybe want to participate in some other way. Maybe you don't feel comfortable fostering, but you'd like to donate to some of this life-saving care.
We have a month-long kitten shower for the whole month of April. Mm-hmm. It's our annual fundraiser that we host each spring to prepare for the kittens, that thousands of kittens that come through our doors and hopefully out the doors to foster homes. So all the funds and supplies raised from this kitten shower will directly contribute to providing the essential care we need for these kittens, and as well as thousands of other pets in our care. And so how Maggie, tell me how I can participate or help in this effort for these little babies.
All right. Well, so we talked about fostering a lot, and some of you may not be in a position where you're able to foster right now, but that's okay. There are still plenty of other ways you can help. Like Mary said, the kitten shower runs the entire month of April. So any donations during that time are wonderful. However, we're happy for donations all year long. So even if April isn't a time where you're able to do anything, that's okay as well. But if you're interested in donating to Kitten Shower, donations can be made for specifically Kitten Shower on our shelter's website, which is just thehumanesociety.org. You can also just Google us, Humane Society for Tacoma and Pierce County. We have an Amazon kitten registry, and those items can be shipped directly to the shelter. Or you can also see, if you see those items and you happen to be out and about shopping and want to buy them, you can definitely purchase them and bring them here to our shelter here on Center Street. We have a little, what did you set up down there, Natalie? Like
a pack and play.
A pack and play, yes. The little pack and play in the lobby for kitten-specific donations. So it's a little decorated baby pack and play that kitten donations will go into.
And new to our kitten shower this year, which I'm super excited about, is that we're asking for kitten name suggestions. And so if you'd like to suggest names for incoming kittens, a litter of kittens, I like to do certain, like How to Train Your Dragon litter, or like
themes.
Oh yeah, I'm Disney. So I try to name everything something Disney related.
And it's so fun. It's so fun. And you can suggest names for incoming kittens with a donation starting at $10, and you can do that on our website /name-a-kitten. Name-a-kitten. What else can you do to help, Maggie?
Well, so fostering, donating, we talked about. If you're also looking to add a new furry family member into your family, you can adopt. We, as you've heard, we have lots of kittens coming in. Well, the goal is to find them their new families. So if you're looking for a kitten or any other animal, here in the coming months, you can adopt. When you adopt from us, the animals, as Natalie was talking about earlier, they come having already been spayed and neutered, vaccinated, microchipped, dewormed, flea medicine. You'll get all those records as well. But that is one way that you can help and know that you don't have to worry about getting all those things done on your own, because the animal you're adopting from us has all of those already done. And then another really, really important element to all of this, to animal welfare work in general, is if you say you get an animal in another way, shape, or form, and it's not already spayed or neutered, please spay and neuter your pets. That's one of the most important things you can do, both for that animal's health and for the increasing number of, to hopefully decrease the number of animals in need of homes, in need of fosters, so spaying and neutering, donating, fostering, adopting, there are so many ways that you can help if that is something that you're called to do.
Natalie, thank you so much for joining us. We had so much fun. Thank you for bringing these insights to the table and sharing with the community on how they can get involved and bring a sweet little kitten into their life, or 10. Thanks so much for joining us. We post episodes every other Thursday, so come back and listen soon.
And if you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to support the podcast, please go ahead and subscribe, share it with others, leave a rating and a review. And if you have any questions that you want us to answer in a future episode, go to our website at thehumanesociety.org/podcast and submit your questions.
To catch all the latest from the Humane Society for Tacoma and Pierce County, check us out on Instagram and Facebook at Tacoma Humane. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.